Welcome to Journey to Joy Live, a podcast to promote wellness, resilience, and inspire joy. Be empowered to balance your mental, physical, financial, aspirational, and social health while providing mental health awareness and breaking down the stigma of mental illness in the Black community. I'm your host, Dr. If Joy, and I'm here to help you transform life's challenges into opportunities for joy. Let's begin the journey together. Hey, y'all. We here with episode 102, the much anticipated, the last straw, the mental load and mental health of single mothers. And I have a wonderful special guest, my BFF. She's first a BFF, and then she's everything else after. Jessica B. Taylor, founder of Therapy for Black Women. This is your fourth time on Journey to Joy Live. Woo-hoo.
Yes, woohoo. Thank you for having me again.
I know. Of course, I'm going to keep having you back. And as I said, she's founder of Therapy for Black Women and on Instagram at Therapy for Black Women LLC. And you can go to our website, therapyforblackwomen.com. Where are you?
I am currently in Baltimore, Maryland. You mean where's the practice or just where am I today?
Well, you're currently in Baltimore, but where's the practice? Like if they wanted to see you as a therapist, where did
I am licensed in Maryland, DC, and Virginia, and in one moment, Michigan. But the other wonderful people in the practice are also licensed in Pennsylvania and Georgia, in addition to those states.
Oh, dope. Okay. That's cool. Well, we're going to jump right into this because this movie, Straw, Tyler Perry's Netflix movie with Taraji P. Henson. Honestly, I'm always behind the ball, so I didn't even realize it came out till I saw your Facebook post. Tell everybody what your Facebook post was.
Oh, what it said like...
It was your reaction.
Whew, deep breath. Get ready. It was like trigger warning. That was the post.
That's what you put, trigger warning.
That was the post. I was 23 minutes in, and I had to post that because I was like, I need to tell someone else, like, whoa, get ready.
Oh, you hadn't even finished it yet.
I hadn't finished it.
I was like, what Jessica talking about now? I'm like, I'm not even going to watch this movie. Jessica be watching these serious movies. And I went to the previews, and I was like, oh.
I always want to watch a movie like that because I want to see like how great it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So to dive right into the Tyler Perry, world, it's like his model is working because people want to see and people like it, obviously, But it's almost like I didn't wait for the Rotten Tomatoes score. I didn't wait for someone else to say, I just wanted to see it myself. And it wasn't a waste. It was just an experience that I wasn't quite prepared for.
I know they need to put like a trigger warning at the very beginning before you watch it. But I mean, it's a good mix. There's people that really loved it, and because they really loved how it like portrayed the mental health of, or the lack thereof, of a single mom. But then some people are like, "Come on, Tyler, what's up with this drama? Why are you always making us look bad? Black women are more than that." Like that's what a lot of posts are saying as well. I mean, I can see both sides. Yeah, Black women are more than that, but he also has a lot of movies out there which are showing rich Black people doing their thing too. So.
That's true.
I think he does both. But thank you for warning me. So I cheated. I had the cliff notes. You didn't tell me everything, but you pretty much said, yeah, be ready. So I knew I needed to have my psychiatrist hat on when I was watching it. So yeah, thank you. That helped. And at that point, I was just like, I knew I'm going to do a podcast episode about it. So yeah. So this lady, she went through it all. You know what? Before I get into my whole thing about it, as a single mom for yourself and as a therapist, like what moments in the movie really hit you the hardest and why?
Oh gosh. Well, again, that first 25 minutes or so where it was just one terrible thing after another, not like, oh, you got the notice on the door that you're going to be put out. It was like today. Everything was right now, just the most terrible, like lack of compassion,
Mm.
lack of a safety net. And
Mhm.
one of those days where I always think about you on your trip to Machu Picchu, where it was
Mm.
like cold and rainy and tired and sleepy, and then you slipped and fell, and he was like,
Ooh,
"Oh,"
forgot about that.
I always use that example too,
Really?
because if it's this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and kaboom, right?
Oh
There's
gosh.
possibility for the kaboom. And so I didn't really answer your question, but it was, yeah, just that first 23 minutes of no compassion. I'm actually going to threaten you when I'm in a position of power and I should be treating you
Her
better.
boss, right?
I'm going to her boss and
Oh,
that
he was
police
so
officer.
annoying. He frustrated me the most. I'm just like, do you
Mhm.
not see the stress on her face? Like, yeah, the lack of compassion.
Yeah. And honestly, the movie really speaks to everyone else's mental like stability or instability as well, because
Mhm.
the person that decides to ram her off the road,
Oh.
I know people get upset on
Oh
roads,
my
but it's
god.
like
Oh my god.
it's not really worth, I'm gonna show you, and then cursing people loud
But
and
he was a cop. I'm so mad. So I
yeah.
actually meant to say the spoiler alert beforehand. We are talking about, some of the obvious stuff. Like once you just even look at the previews, you kind of know what's going on. There is a nice, nice big twist at the end. But I'm gonna tell you guys before we say it. If you hadn't watched the movie, I'm gonna say spoiler alert. But this part right here, I hope is not spoiler alert. But
Yeah.
that was a dang on cop that ran
Right.
her off the road. Like, why were
Right.
you so upset? So the
And
boss
it
pissed me off and the cop pissed me off.
Yeah, and it was like within each situation in terms of the school and how she was treated by the principal and social worker, whoever,
Mhm.
at work, it was like every situation was a hard possibility, but
Yeah.
it kept getting worse and worse because when someone could
Mhm.
have slowed down, when they could have showed her compassion, they were like, "It's my world and you deserve nothing."
That's
Like, in fact,
everybody.
you deserve for me to treat you like the bottom of my shoe or something like that.
Everybody
So
was doing that, except for her friend at work, and I was thinking, like, that's a bullet point right there because I don't know how much money she was trying to give her, but she said no. Like, even when she was literally rock bottom, she did not wanna
Mhm.
take her money, and really, ladies, it's definitely okay to say yes, and, like, even in the midst of being at the rock bottom, we still have this sense of pride where we don't wanna accept the help. So even though she really didn't have much help, but the one little person that was helping her in the beginning, she still declined that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the most, honestly, the most like, what? What? I wasn't ready
Yeah, just
for
socking you every time. And I think the getting her car taken away, that was the last straw. Because like throughout the whole beginning of the movie, I'm like, okay, what's the last straw? It's called straw. I'm thinking we trying to figure out what's the last straw. So I think that's what it was. She seemed to pop right after that when she got her car, unless it was the robbery.
Mhm.
I don't know. The first robbery, not her robbery. But yeah.
Right, right,
I'm
right.
saying all the spoilers. I told y'all to do y'all homework and watch this movie, so don't get mad at me. But
Yeah.
yeah, when the movie came on, like you're talking about the first 25 minutes, that hit me, right? So I haven't experienced every single thing, but I've experienced no AC, being hot and sweaty, and I've experienced a foreclosure when I was younger. And so I've experienced those things. So it's just like it was just so real. I remember sleeping in a mattress that had like a pit in the middle. I just
Yeah.
remembered that just the other day. I'm like, that was for real. I did not have a real comfortable bed at one point in my life. Like that is ridiculous. So that just scene, just in and of itself, that first scene is just really like just hits you for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, okay, so with my different hats on, I can't help but critique certain movies, especially when the character is a Black woman,
Mhm.
as the movie progresses, you see her, and even in the first 25 minutes, you see her kind of say, like, I don't have anybody, I can't rely on anybody, I can't ask anybody for help. And then, she kind of has this rule in her mind that I can't
Yeah.
take help for people
Yeah.
who also need help, you know?
Yeah.
And so, we've all been in situations where it's been difficult, but like,
Yeah.
that was a funny critique. Like, okay, where is anyone?
Yeah.
There's no one, like, and I know because I have my wonderful clients, we have these discussions about there being no one when you have like rules in place
You
that,
put those rules for
yeah,
some reason because
yeah,
she had a sister and a mom. She just said, I forget what she said with the reason she didn't want to contact them, but
something
they
they
were
were
there.
crazy. I can't let my child be with them. I can't remember, but something like they were probably toxic or something in her, a rule, yeah. Yeah, but now, not I don't know how old the age of the character was supposed to be,
Yeah.
but also to get to that point in life, it was like, there were a lot of areas, again, with my social worker hat on,
Yeah.
where she deserved better. She
Yo, of
deserved
course.
like better healthcare, a better support system, because to not have one, and I am not saying that it's not impossible,
Mhm.
but it just means like, all these years, she did not get the help. She did not have the safety net and the support
Yeah.
system that was
Yeah.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's something up with that. Why is she in the situation she's in, working two jobs? Why did the system fail her? And that's all the hard questions it's bringing out. Is that the system that's in place right now is not here to support single moms, single fathers, or whoever it is that needs the help. And she seemed to me so strong. Like I was just like, wow, there's people treating her this way, and she seemed like there was a sense of calm. But then looking at what other people were saying, they were like, well, no, she was on autopilot. She was just on autopilot, not really thinking and reacting as much until that last straw. But I don't think the autopilot negates the strength, because there's still a good strength that's in these single moms. I don't know how to do it. It's
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, now that you say that, I'm thinking about even when she was in the middle of the robbery, right?
Mhm.
Meaning the one at her job, where it's two people she did not know were attempting to rob her. It was almost like not only was this owner of the store, manager of the store, like mean, he was being a butthole towards her. Also wasn't that smart, because we were all like, come on,
Why are you
and he
so
just
dumb? Oh, how did he knew your name? You must be a part of the Ravi. My name tag. Like, even
right,
she was just like, you idiot. But
right, right. But he also was like, I need everything about you has to be wrong. Like you don't do anything right. You don't deserve any compassion. We're not on the same team. Like he already had that like mindset. But as you said that, it made me think that she did that in self-defense, and then she ended up her killing him. I
can I
wouldn't
can I
say
just say that I was happy? I'm sorry. We are talking about a movie that really didn't happen in real life, even though we're talking about real life issues. But when
right,
she
right.
killed him, I'm like, look, I'm sorry, bro. You deserve that. I
Understood.
was so mad.
We understood. We understood. And she was again beat. She was so vulnerable all day long. All this terrible stuff had happened to her. No one was gonna take her word for it. Basically, based on what had happened all day in her life, she just knew and she just made a call, right? Which people do that all the time. They
We
make
do
calls.
anything for our
Yeah,
kids.
yeah, yeah.
Anything. I'm not
So
gonna ask you why you lied what you killed for your kid, but I'm just saying we will do anything for our kids. So, she's constantly thinking about her child sick, and I gotta bring the money to the school. My child, my child, my
right.
child. Everything was about her child. Her whole identity was literally being a mom. Like, and
Mhm,
trying to make money for
mhm.
her child. And that's tough. Like she probably didn't, her name was Janiyah, right? She probably didn't know who Janiyah was. It was just all about I'm a mom. And that's tough.
So again, movie critiques. It was missing so much context.
Yeah.
Again, like who? I know, again, I'm sorry, I keep saying it, but I know that there are people who are in the most desperate of situations, but
Uh-huh.
there's so many factors that kind of lead you there.
Mm-hmm.
So, no girlfriend, no,
She had no friends.
that's hard. That's hard
Well, she
to
wasn't accepting the help regardless. And I'm not knocking her. It's just we're out here to say if you have any ounce of help, ask for it because it's okay. But
yeah.
the
I don't know if you want to drop
mom,
the bomb or not, but even in that, I was like, how did she go home by herself? How did
yeah,
she
that whole
go
thing. Okay, let's drop the
home by
bomb. We done talked for 15 minutes. So
right, right.
if you haven't seen it, stop because we're gonna tell the biggest twist ever. It's a really good twist. In fact, yeah, the fact that you told me there was gonna be a twist, I don't think it hit me that hard. But
Mhm.
that's okay. I'm all right with it. But anyway, go ahead. We spoiler alerts. Okay, go.
Yeah, turn it off. Get off now. 3, 2, 1. Okay. No. So at they finally she's in the bank and the whole thing is happening with the bank manager, the police
And
outside,
she's like,
and
my baby, my baby, my baby. And then her
yeah, and
mom
then
calls and
the
she's talking to
mom,
her
they put the
mom.
mom on FaceTime or something like that.
Mom, yeah.
And the mom says, Janaya, the baby died. And so first it's hitting me like, you have got to be kidding me. Like this on top of the worst day ever. But then
That's
it's
why
like,
it was the worst day ever.
but
Because her
then
child died.
had already
She had
died
already
before
died
the whole
the
day.
whole
Before
day.
we see that whole day, that we're seeing her,
Yes.
in a state of in a hallucination, in a state of
Basically,
psychosis,
that's the
and
autopilot.
imagining interacting with her daughter all day long. But
Yes.
to my earlier point before we said the spoiler alert, how is anyone allowing her to go home
By
alone? Like,
herself.
again, I think that, I need a tissue. I
I
think
thought the
that
same thing.
I got one. I think that that is one of the ways that she was allowed to go through the day. And what if everybody had to work? And what if I know it's possible,
Then
but
why did she have to go to work? Or maybe she didn't know that's the problem. She woke up in this hallucination basically or in this delusion. So she thought she had to go to work. But that also says a lot too. Like if you're in her situation, your baby dies, you can't even take off because you're still about to get evicted and you're gonna be homeless. But
yeah.
why isn't anything in place for her for that? But yeah, she should have never went home by herself. And also, I even sent you a message about this after it happened. When DFACS, well, we call it DFACS here, but Child Protective Services, when
Uh-huh.
she went to the school and they had taken her kid away because she didn't come fast enough to give her the money. I found that I was like, why did they take her away so quick? That's because that was within her hallucination. It
Mhm.
actually didn't happen because I don't think CPS worked that quick, but
Mhm. The day also from the film critic's standpoint, the day it's like, well, what was real and what wasn't, because we see so many things that did happen. It was like, well, what if this
the
didn't
whole
happen?
day didn't even happen.
Well, some of it did though. The cop and the car
Well,
accident
she
and the
hallucinated
threat
that.
was real.
The school didn't really call her.
But
What if
this
he didn't really do that? No, we gonna say that did happen.
Well, you know what? That's a good point because what if that cop is just like, "What are you talking about?" And the other lady hit him in the
What
head
if
for
she
no
didn't kill her
reason.
boss? Okay, all right. Well, okay. So the point. Let's put our mental health professional. So the point is that let's say Tyler Perry's doing a great job because he really is portraying something that can actually happen.
Yeah.
Grief and trauma, loss, poverty,
Oh
discrimination,
yeah.
all these things legit can mess up your mental health.
Mhm.
And if anybody's wondering, like, whoa, how did that happen? That actually can happen in real life. It's not just for entertainment. And I don't know who feels entertained by this,
Yeah.
but you can go through all kinds of things when you're in grief. And that is exactly what happened to her. Like she was dissociating. That's the proper
Right.
term for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, a lot of us have a lot of trauma, childhood trauma, young adulthood trauma, wherever you want to put it. But a lot of us have a lot of childhood stuff, right? Whether
Mhm.
that's neglect, whether that's
Mhm.
abuse, whether that's just something that we observe. So we're traumatized by observing something, life threatening.
Mhm.
And there is a slippery slope sometimes into making bad decisions or not having a reliable safety net.
Mhm.
Uh, my client and I were talking today, and she was just like, I probably make the most money in my family. There's no one to go to for any type of
Mm.
financial help at all.
Mm.
And
Mm.
many of us can relate to that. Like, you're a
They
blessed
coming to
individual.
you.
Say it again.
They probably come to you, the person that's saying that.
Right, right.
Mhm.
You're a very blessed individual if you do have someone that could bail you out, someone that could front you some money, you know what I mean? Get you out of pickles. And there's a large population of people who do have that and they use it. And when you don't have that, one thing, one debt, one bad this, now your credit looks like this, now you can't, so like, how, if we're going with everything that happened in the beginning actually happening, just for
Yeah, I mean,
argumentation's
let's
sake,
say, yeah.
you can end up evicted,
Yeah.
because there is no other place to be. um
Yeah.
we we're calling her a single mom. We're not really, there's no father in the film to speak of. I don't remember them saying that.
No, they did not mention it at all. It was
But
a typical single mom situation, no mom at all. No
the
no father at all.
mhm, the mental load of everything is on me. I have fantastic clients in everything. Like, the other parent, we're not trying to man bash, but the other parent is
Mhm.
just zero.
Mhm.
Not his mama, not his family. Like,
Mhm.
it's just nothing. It's just
Mhm.
absolutely nothing. So that means that, you know, sick days and
It's
showing
on
up
you and your job.
again and doing all of the things, it is an immense amount of pressure.
Yeah.
Even for them to prioritize their mental health is like a big
Their
deal.
own mental health, because, like,
Yeah,
not to even mention, like, if the child themselves has behavioral issues and then they're needing to get out of school or be hospitalized a lot, and so
health
you
issues.
have to be there, and so now
Yeah,
it's your job. So, as a child psychiatrist with patients who are kids, I am filling out a lot of FMLA paperwork for parents because they have to send these to their jobs, or I've heard of parents losing their jobs because of having these are single moms. They're the only ones that can be there for their child. I'm happily signing the paperwork because it's just messed up. They don't have any village or support that can help them when their child is in
mhm,
need,
mhm.
and it really sucks. I hate to bring the political trauma in, but like it's scary because a lot of resources are getting pulled from a political standpoint, which is going to further worsen the situation of people without resources.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of things have progressed and are better than they used to be, but I'm going to refer back to one of the things that we did get away from, which is living close to everyone and
Mhm.
multi-generational homes
Mhm.
were healthy enough, right?
Mhm.
So now people, we don't have such and such that lives around the corner or next door. Trust is a huge factor for single moms, for all moms, for
Yeah.
all moms, for all moms.
Yeah.
And so, but for a single mom or single parent, period, you have to let someone help you, which that's a scary thing.
Yeah.
So you just do it all, you know.
And it's really important to, like, know what the resources are, because, like, for instance, Chris 180, Community Mental Health Center, we've had a lot of resources that can help people in her situation. And I remember someone literally who's employed by Chris 180 standing up and saying, a year ago, basically, she was in that situation, this person, where
Mhm.
she was like, a year ago, I didn't even know Chris 180 existed. How can we get these information about these programs out there?
Yeah.
So a lot of times there's actually a program out there that can help you who needs housing, who needs a job, who needs some clothes so you can go show up to the job. So there are resources out there. It's a matter of, like, how do you find them? Google may not tell you at the time. But yeah, and then just simply asking for help from a therapy standpoint or needing medication. that part.
Yeah. It's wonderful when you do interact with a provider,
Hmm.
whether that is your child's pediatrician or, you know what I mean? Half the time it's your beautician or your barber, right?
That's
They're
true.
doing community mental health right there on the spot. But you see what I'm saying? If you get someone in some realm and they kind of keep prodding, they can kind of poke and pry as opposed to I'm just going to sign up for therapy because everybody doesn't do that, you know.
Yeah, don't
So
just do
it's
it.
nice when someone notices or someone asks. And unfortunately, just like in the movie,
Mhm.
sometimes it happens because someone notices something that's different or they, see a basic need not being met or something like that. But
So, at the risk of somebody sucking their teeth at me when I say this, I related mostly to the wife of my boss in the movie, the woman that did really help her at the bank, the one that was the manager.
yeah,
And when they show her family, and she was just like, I just want to get home to my family. That's when I started crying because then I thought about my family. And if I was in that situation, and really, of all the people that helped her in the movie, it was Black women. Her friend was a Black woman, the cop was a Black woman, the
mhm,
manager. So it's just like in the midst of all this, we do bond with each other, and we do have like this natural sisterhood just as Black women, except for the landlord. She was a Black woman and she was just tripping. But even she started to understand at the end. But yeah,
yeah,
my bad. Cut you
yeah.
off.
No, you're fine. So yes, I appreciated parts of the movie, right? But there were also so many parts as a viewer that I just didn't like to sit through. Like there were
Yeah.
a, a couple incidences of white people kind of taking over and that threatening scenario with the
Yeah, no
cops.
one likes that racial
That,
trauma.
oof,
Mm-mm.
yeah, that's the phrase is trauma porn. Like there's
Yeah,
a lot of movies with not just black people,
like
but
just too much trauma.
yeah, and it's just like, let's watch this horrible, awful thing.
Right. What worse can happen? Let's just keep adding worse things.
Right,
And it,
right.
honestly, I was so numb at the end, or prepared, because you prepare me. You can say numb or prepared, that when they killed her, because I get to say that on here because we're doing spoiler alerts. I was like, that's not really happening right now. And my husband
Mhm.
was looking at me like, she not reacting. And of course, they didn't kill her. That was like an
Yeah,
imagination
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. And he was just like, I was just a cry, just lost it at that part. I'm like, sorry, bro. I know how movies work. It's there's no way.
Yeah,
Like all of
yeah.
all the things that happen, there's no way it's gonna be a set it off situation.
Right, right. What was her name at the end of the movie? Yes, yes.
Oh, girl,
Queen
please. I don't
Latifah's
remember their
character.
name. If you said it, I would remember. I was like, oh, that's it. But
But, I was what else was it? I had wrote my little list out of things.
oh yeah, tell us
Oh,
stuff.
so the only person that was actually qualified and maybe trauma informed or not was that, Tiana Taylor's character, I don't remember, Detective
The
something.
cop.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that white guy that was like, she knows what she's doing, right? He believed her. It was like she was getting second guessed left and right,
That was so
though.
annoying. That
Le
FBI.
Yeah,
Oh, the FBI.
the second guessing.
Mm-mm.
Even before
Mm-mm.
they stepped in, it took them a while, her own people to
That's so
get on
annoying. That
her
was
side.
almost trivial. It was almost like, okay,
It's
anyway.
Tyler
Let's back away from the actual movie critique.
Perry. Right. But,
Okay.
um,
Mhm.
yeah, so the response to a crisis, then being trauma informed, obviously is really
Yeah.
important, and
She related to her.
people knowing how to approach it and how to speak to her, and the need never changed. The whole movie, she was just like, "I am not," she has said it about a billion times, "I am not robbing you, I just want my," then
$121.
in
Yeah.
order for the movie to progress, there had to be that cop out there.
And you could tell
So
she was off, like going back to being an autopilot and kind of
mhm.
in a sense of a psychosis all day. Cause there's certain things she would say, I'm like, really? Cause she just kept saying, I gotta get the money to my child. I'm like, but your child is in CPS. There's no child to go back to. Or like just constantly talking about that check and the money and not really realizing what was going on around her. Like not realizing they thought that that was a bomb that she was carrying or that they thought she was robbing a bank. So you could just tell
Mhm.
like everything wasn't
Mhm.
there. And that's just,
Yeah.
just showing like the signs of like a mental break that was actually
Yeah.
happening with her.
She didn't say when she came back to work anything about what had happened when
Yeah, she didn't
she
try
came
to
back to
explain
work.
anything.
Yeah.
She wasn't all there. So if we're talking about trying to recognize signs in other people, and like you said, being trauma informed, because that's what was missing in everybody except for the detective is or the boss lady. Like they weren't trauma informed. And if you recognize what someone's going through and like understanding, oh, they're having a bad day. They have some trauma right now. What can I do to help you? And there's first aid, there's mental health first aid trainings that anybody can take so that you can be able to equip yourself with understanding how to recognize a mental breakdown.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we didn't see any real personal moments because it was just work and
Yeah.
trying to avert crises all day long.
Yeah.
But if we were able to see like her phone probably would have been blowing up because people were calling her from what had happened last night. Like that's where there was this little moments like this isn't making sense. But
Yeah.
it has to be a movie. A movie has
Yeah. It has to be a
to
movie. But I mean,
Right.
that's what's scary about it is that literally every single thing that happened in this movie could actually happen. So
True.
it's like nothing was like
Yeah.
mythical or
The
magical.
fact that it all happened in one day,
That's
highly unlikely, but
that's
the fact that it
that's
all
highly
happened,
unlikely.
yes, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your journey. I mean, I promoted this you as a single mom. I don't know if you think of yourself as that. The father is very actively there. You guys have like literally the best co-parenting situation I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, thank
But still,
yeah,
in
yeah.
your motherhood, I mean, how do you balance motherhood, entrepreneurship, because you're a boss and your own mental health?
Mm, great question. No, people always say that, "Great question," but no, it really was a
Thank
great
you.
question.
Thank you.
One, I do my best to practice what I preach. I'm not perfect, but I do have my own therapist. She is also a wonderful member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority
Hey.
and right. So she has been with me along a journey
Mhm.
from postpartum, living together, even though we worked together with this
Mhm.
baby in the pandemic,
Mhm.
to making many transitions, deciding to move out, starting the private practice, and hiring people. That's when she was like, we could take our break. Remember, she gave me my break. um, but no, she's seen me through a lot of transitions and
Yeah.
changes, and or any mental health care and support. She was a big part of that because your girl was struggling. Okay.
Get you
Um,
through it.
yeah, yeah. So I don't relate to the character in all the ways, but I relate in terms
Yeah.
of like there was no one else that it's me and her dad. If me and her dad
Mhm.
got sick, it was like
Mhm.
we both sick, and which has
Mhm.
happened, right? Because we had this kid in COVID, and all kinds of things have happened, and it
Mhm.
have to do it. But no, he having a great co-parent was just a blessing.
Yeah.
And I could try to take credit for choosing an awesome man, but it was really just a gift from God because we haven't been this perfect, symbiotic co-parent thing, but we
Mhm.
did the work. And again, there was just a lot of things that he was poured into by amazing people. His father, his family, his family, like he had, even though he had never been a parent before, he had a lot of principles and a lot of like, ideas
The
for
upbringing.
fatherhood. Yeah, so he was excited about it, and he just, he took it on and did his own thing.
Mhm.
equity was something that was a goal of mine as soon as I realized it needed to be.
Yeah, yeah,
So not 50-50, but making sure that we like respected one another's time and
yeah,
respected one another's energy and all that. And kindness, just straight up like, I don't hate you, you don't hate me. And so we actually were able to do overall what was in the best interest of the kid,
mhm,
and so just to go back, so as a single parent business owner,
mhm,
the boundaries and the equity is a big part of how that's possible. um,
exactly.
Shared parenting, co-parenting is the most bittersweet thing ever, right? Like,
Mhm.
there's a part of me now that still wants to let a tear out because it's so like, ugh, that we have to be in this that we have to be in this predicament, and
Yeah,
our kid has to bop back and forth.
yeah,
And still, it's like this person has to share the parenting time with me, and it is, the best thing for her to be with the both of us. And so she has to go back and forth, that
yeah.
allows me to get my business done when it's time to get my business done, get my rest, do my priorities, as
Eh,
long as I honor them and stick to them. And
yeah,
same for him, And
yeah.
I was able to, because we did because we did shared parenting time since she was one,
Mhm.
almost two, but closer to two. She was one. I had a lot of confidence in him. So he did hair to the best of his ability.
I
He
remember that. That
Yeah,
was a
he knows
journey.
he knows her hospital doctor. He can do everything. He does the dentist.
Mhm.
He is her dad 100%, and they have a bond and they get along great. And so I was able to do my thing when it was my time,
Yeah.
because I could trust
Which
him.
that's cool. I feel like that's almost the best of both worlds when you think about it. Of course, I'm an outsider, but like when your child's with the other parent and you finally get a few days to yourself, and it's like, ooh, yay, this is nice, especially when you trust them, right?
Right,
And there's equity and all that.
right.
Because being a single parent, you can never really be alone. And the same with as being a wife. No, let me not throw that in there.
Listen, I hear it very often, especially from people who are uh, divorced. They're like, I was already a single parent before I was
Just being
divorced.
a single parent. And
Yeah,
that's hard because you have to like change your expectations. Because if you're out there and you a single mom and you're married and you expect the spouse to do
right.
something, that just makes it more stressful when they don't. So it's almost like you just like need to, hey, I'm a single mom. Let me just make these
Yeah.
decisions and just not expect them to do anything.
Mhm.
But hubby, I'm not talking about you. I'm not in that situation. Sometimes he'd be like, "What's she talking about me?" I'm not talking about you, husband. You know you're not like that. And
No.
my husband is a single father of one, turned married father of three. So he's got a whole journey.
Yeah, yeah, a beautiful journey as well. Can't
Oh
wait to
gosh, when
can't
is
wait to
his
read
movie
the book.
dropping? Tell me. That's what I just said. I'm like, you need to write a book. He was telling us a story yesterday. I'm like, when are you writing this book?
Yeah,
Like, oh my gosh.
but I have a few clients,
Mm-hmm.
more than two, who I have walked through their sort of I'm married, but situation.
Yeah, I'm married, but I feel single.
Yeah, and some of them have made the
Yeah.
choice to go ahead to pursue divorce, or
Yeah.
done with it in the middle of it. Could
And you feel better.
thinking about it, and some not, and that's not what everybody's not going to do that, obviously. And there's different levels of work to be done. Some people are doing the work, some people are not doing the work, meaning their partners, so
Yeah.
but it's too much overall. It's not supposed to be everything that has to do with this kid is all on me. I
All
have
on
no
you and and you're more than just a mom. Even in those moments where you do have time by yourself, even if you share a bed with the child's asleep, try to get back to yourself. Who am I with out the child. Who am I beyond motherhood? I am this, I'm that, whatever that is, because you're more than just a mom. And that gets lost when that's all you do. But just looking for the resources, they're there for sure.
Oh yeah.
But with that said, what do you wish more people understood about the mental load of single motherhood?
I think we've said the majority of it here.
Mhm.
It's really not sustainable, meaning you must get a break. You
Yeah.
must, to be on.
Ask for help. It's okay to ask for help, even if it's your
Right.
crazy mama. Because obviously that crazy mama brought everything back to her at the end. So clearly that mom, she played some role in her life.
Yeah, yeah. There are more and more sort of collectives of moms popping up.
Hmm.
So in our area, there's, of course, Mocha Moms.
I
I'm
knew you was
always
gonna say
gonna talk
that.
about
Mocha
Mocha
mom.
Moms. Mocha Moms is all over the US. It's not just in
Yeah,
our
that's
area.
good. Shout out to
Um,
Mocha moms. Yeah, and there's single moms and married moms. Tell us what that's done for you, because that is huge.
oh yeah. So I mean, I was Googling Mocha Moms when I found out I was pregnant. Like, I need help.
Right.
So it's a wonderful organization for moms that is focused on sisterhood and supporting one another, and we sprinkle in some service in many different ways as well. But I think at the core of it, the beauty of it is just this safe space to just go. You can have fun with the kids, you can have fun without the kids, you can have fun with your husband, you can have fun without your husband, or no husband, or no partner,
FTK. Can I
whatever you.
say FTK? Is that allowed?
So it's fantastic in the sense that, and I have one of my moms, I'm like, I still haven't met your daughter. She was like, that's not what I'm here for.
Oh, you a Mocha mom. You said I'm here for me, not for the
Yes.
kid. That
But
is
there's also
hilarious.
in this DC area, there's like new momish, and there's Facebook groups of moms trying to, make friends. And so again, I know it's a big kind of leap, when you're at
Yeah.
the park, or when you're at Sky Zone, or when you're at the Y and you see another, mom kid, but it really is great to sort of just shoot your shot.
Yeah,
And
and meet them. Just the
yeah,
other day, there was a mom and
yeah,
her 4 kids walking past my house. I went out there and I introduced myself. We had a 10-minute conversation because I'm like, look, you doing what I'm doing. Let's meet, let's talk, let's go get some coffee, something. So if you see some other mom, then yeah, shoot your shot, meet other people, build your village. Maybe there's not your blood that can help, but it's out there.
it is, it is. I mean, some of my closest friends I met in the last 10 years of my life. They aren't going to be all Nina Joy, but minutes. Okay. Like most of them are newish,
I
friends.
know. I'm a long-term friend, but you meeting some new friends out there. I'm a little jealous. That's why I'm going to Baltimore to see what you're doing over there. I'm kidding.
There's also, um, some things do cost. So
Yeah,
you do have to. Everybody is not in this desperate of a place, right? Because she was in a desperate place.
yeah.
But some things that do cost a little. Um, the Y is fantastic. They actually have childcare. You can go there and read a book, work out, take a class.
That's
Your
true. Some
kid is.
gems. Yeah.
Yeah, there's childcare there. They even have little every Friday you can go out and leave the
Yeah.
kid.
And honestly, no matter how much money you have, you can budget for joy. I did a reel yesterday saying, that, how people say vacation from vacation. You need a vacation for the vacation. When I got back, I booked 3 trips, a solo trip for me, a solo trip for my husband, and a couples trip. And so somebody's comment was like, what's it like having money? And I said, I can't tell you what it's like having money, but I can tell you what it's like to budget for joy, because it don't matter how much money you have or how little money you have. You can always budget for joy. And joy doesn't always have to be booking a cruise or booking a trip or booking a day spa. It could be going for a walk in the sun without your kid and thinking about nothing but dirt. So, and that's not even a budget. You don't need to budget to
Right.
walk, to take a walk or a couple dollars, right? So if you put in your budget this is what I want to do, you can do it. You just have to
Yeah.
prioritize it.
Yeah. There's a way to access whatever types of things you love on any line item budget.
Yeah.
Like if you want to spend 5,000, you can go try new restaurants in Tahiti. That's always my country ever. Tahiti.
That's
You
the
can
one that's too far and
But if
unattainable.
you don't have $5,000, you can do a staycation. If you don't have staycation, you can just try a new restaurant. If you can't try
That's
a new restaurant,
true.
you can try a new recipe. Like you get my point. In
Oh
terms
my
of
God.
this
Yes, Jessica.
accessible things on every listen, if you can't try it, you can watch videos of people cooking.
And I know it's possible because I feel like quoting that scripture. I know what it's like to have lack, and I know what it's like to have a lot. But either way, I have all things, right? So that's what I feel like. So it's like people look at you, they're like, "Oh yeah, but you can do this." But what about me? I don't have the income that you have, or I don't have the degrees that you have. But there's always a way. I mean, we aren't promoting joy. Joy isn't just for rich people. And in fact, in Africa, in Uganda, they said some people are so poor that all they have is money.
Oof, oof,
Let's sit with
ouch.
that.
Yeah.
Meaning, it's not just about money that gives you joy. The richness of the culture over there and their family, and of course, we're talking village in that case. That is what brought joy. So even for a single mom, it doesn't mean like, oh, I have to have money to bring me joy. There's other things that can bring you joy.
Yeah, yeah. But peace and support and sanity,
That's rich. You're
where
rich.
where we talk to someone. If you can't conceptualize how it's possible, then keep talking to people. The healthiest person again, shoot your shot and just ask for help. Ask for tidbits, whatever you want to call it, but like access it however you can. We're not recreating the wheel. We're not solving impossible things here. They
Mm-hmm.
might not be within your realm of reality that you can, imagine, but with a little bit of, help from the outside, someone may say, well, have you thought of this? And have you tried that? So don't just lean into the decline. If you see yourself and you feel like things are getting worse and you feel like your mental space is getting worse, and sometimes it can feel almost comfortable, to be in that space.
Yeah.
But especially, no, anyone, but especially if you have a kid,
Mm-hmm.
it's you're doing yourself and you're doing your kid or kids plural the best service in the world by getting help.
Exactly. Asking for help, it all boils down to that. Jessica, I mean, I forgot we were live. I'm just thinking we just talking. We could go 2 hours there.
We could.
I
Yeah.
think we gotta end at some point.
Okay. Okay.
Um, you've been a guest on here so many times. I mean, I probably asked you before about your personal journey to joy. Anything to add
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
about how your personal journey to joy has been?
It's been great. It's been a journey, right? It's been a very
Yeah.
intentional thing to try to have those boundaries, to access it, to choose ease, to not stress myself out when it's not necessary. But like I really was very intentional about my little garden outside,
Hey,
my little deck.
intention.
Yeah, my little deck, and then forest bathing, as they say, just like being out there with the trees. I love stand-up comedy that will
Oh my
never.
God, we did that on Sunday. Did I tell you about it? I gotta tell you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If there is a science to comedy, this man got it. Timothy Shropshire.
Oh,
He
okay.
he talked about like this deep, sad stuff. And then like that made us laugh. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay, keep going.
yeah. No, no. I mean, laughing and laugh therapy and all these kinds
Ooh,
of things. It's real. It is like
gotta laugh.
so many things that you can do. I heard your podcast last week. You were talking about doing it before you feel like doing it.
Mm.
Laughing is actually one of them, which is wild to people. But like fake laughing Watching
Oh,
someone laugh, intentionally watching something funny, even when you are not in the mood, you will end up laughing and you will
that's
feel better.
true. That's
Yeah.
so true.
Uh,
Yeah, that's right.
but
Yeah.
you have to say to yourself, don't just lean into the sadness. Don't just like, Imma just
Makes you more
let the
sad.
couch, and I get it. But it's like, wait a minute. Me and Jessica talked about this tool I have in my tool. I can just turn on the stand-up comedy special or go on YouTube and watch the stand-up comedy or whatever,
And
and
feel better.
it's going to
Yeah.
make you
It's
laugh. Yeah,
so true. Don't lean into the negative thoughts.
yeah,
Don't lean into the negative mood. Because if you do, yeah, you're gonna feel worse. And part of that is making it a choice and wanting to feel better. Because we've got that learned helplessness where that you're just comfortable in your depression. And you
mhm,
just, hey, that's where
mhm.
I'm at right now.
Yeah, but there's too many ridiculous things now to not laugh. You have to laugh. And if you have a spiritual journey, there's a lot of things to be in awe of, to keep this, like, there's more going on. Yes, this is going pretty bad, but guess what? We're going to laugh to keep from crying, or we're going to cry and laugh at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, humor is a mature defense mechanism. And so, yeah, it's okay.
So that's some of the things I've been doing lately.
That's it? Okay.
It
That's
long.
awesome, Jessica.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely my model for mental health for sure. I mean, we've never got an argument. Like, you're just always so, like, just even kill, and whatever you're doing all the right things because you're calm and patient, and it's awesome. It's an awesome journey, and I see
Thank you. I have to shout
it.
out Caroline. My mother's birthday is tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
Birthday mother, and she is a large part of my, like, temperament and my, the way I was raised. What's it called? Um,
Yeah, temperament.
Genetics versus
Oh,
how you were raised.
genetic versus environment or nurture
There you
versus
go.
nature.
Nurture, that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
she gave me, like, mostly, we keep together. She's a very,
Okay,
middle of the road.
Caroline. See
Yeah, yeah. I
that. I
I
know she been
learned a lot
watching.
of things from my awesome mom. I have to give her a shout out.
Awesome. All right. Well, shout out to all the fathers. I don't know why Tyler Perry don't drop this right before Father's Day. I don't think that's fair. But anyway, shout out to all the fathers because it's Father's Day. And honestly, I got the best father as far as my husband being the best father. My real father, he gone somewhere in heaven, but my husband is an amazing father. So
Yeah,
shout out to you, Juan Mena. I'm
yeah.
taking him to the baseball stadium, staying at the hotel next to the baseball field. So he
Oh,
loves it.
nice, nice, nice. Yeah. Well, I gave my daughter's dad all the shine and the glow earlier, but yeah, he's
All
great.
right. There it
He's
is. He's a great
he's
father too.
awesome.
All right, girl. Thank you, Jessica, for being here. Last minute. Appreciate you.
As always, love to be here. Thank you.
Woohoo. This has been an Enjoy Life production. If you're in a crisis, don't hesitate. Call, text, or chat 988 for immediate support. Please note, this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional treatment. If you're looking for therapy or medication management through Enjoy Life, visit www.drenjoylife.com to request a consultation. I'm licensed in 12 states. I accept Aetna in Georgia, Florida, and Virginia. Be sure to grab your copy of the Enjoy Note to help you on your wellness journey. Also check out Inspire Joy for the wife, mom, boss to help you balance it all without losing yourself. Better yet, get the full Joy bundle for just $45. Remember, Journey to Joy Live is every Thursday at 7 p.m. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, may you continue to transform stress into joy.